Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be reviewing the Foxeer Reaper Extreme 2.5 watt VTX. As always, I'm Jeff with Titan FPV. I wish I could tell you guys that bringing you this review was a day at the beach, but I like to keep it real, and that just wasn't the case. It started off on a good foot. I had a nice build planned out, frame, motors, all matching. I planned on this being my best analog build to date and potentially my last 5-inch analog build. But like most things in FPV, they don't always go according to plan. Soon I noticed that I was having rolling lines. The feed just looked like garbage. The video feed just wasn't doing my Foxeer T-Rex, arguably the best analog FPV camera, any justice. I was now on a mission to clean up my video feed. I had started by wiring the video transmitter to VBAT directly, as it takes 7 to 36 volts. But I soon found out that the ESCs were causing a lot of noise even with a cap on 6S or 4S. I had the OSD running through the flight controller as well. So then I swapped the camera over to be powered by the VTX. Still ran into issues. I reached out to my contact at Foxeer, and they said, just, hey, don't wire the camera through the OSD at all. Just wire it directly to the VTX. Not having OSD is kind of a big deal for me, especially in 2022. That just wasn't going to work out. So I went and bought an LC filter from iFlight and wired that up. After doing so, I now had a new issue. My OSD was flickering. Still getting some lines, even though they were different. Not a big improvement. I do have a Sector 5. It's one of my test mules. It's a bind and fly I've had for a couple years. Pulled the VTX that was in that build and slapped the Reaper Extreme in there. Now the difference with this build is this flight controller does have a 9-volt pad. Most of the newer flight controllers do have 9-volt pads to power, HD0 or DJI directly from the flight controller. You can also power an analog VTX. As soon as I wired this one up, my video feed was completely clean. So now I could get to work with the testing. If you plan on picking this VTX up, make sure you power it from a 9-volt pad on a flight controller, or your video feed is going to look like garbage. I noticed a couple YouTubers, both of their video feeds weren't very clean, and I wanted to do my best to get the best possible image for you guys. I'm going to keep the overview and what comes in the box short and sweet. I believe it has been covered before. This is a 2.5 watt VTX. It's power switchable from 25 milliwatt on all the way up to 2.5 watts. It comes in teal and a gray color. It does have a huge aluminum heatsink. For all you Mr. Steves out there that like to hear the motors, there is an onboard microphone. So that's another good feature. Now, from the factory, it is locked, I believe, to 25 milliwatt, as well as a lot of channels are locked. There is a sequence to hold the single button on the VTX to unlock the VTX, unlock all the channels, and unlock the 2.5 watts of power. It is an MMCX connector on the VTX, but it does not come with a pigtail or an antenna. Most of those you're going to find it's just going to come with a dipole antenna anyway, so you're going to pick out your own antenna. It does come with a wiring harness, some literature. You can find the VTX table and download that on Foxeer's website. I'll post the link in the video description. It is a Tramp VTX, so similar to Smart Audio, you can control the VTX power settings from the Betaflight menu. Now, this is a premium VTX, and I know the question that most of you guys are waiting to be answered is, how much does it cost, Jeff? Well, it costs $60 US. So it's a bit pricey for an analog VTX, but we're going to give it a test and see if it's worth your hard-earned money. Today, it's going to be going up against two competitors, HD Zero's 1 watt freestyle VTX. So this is going to be a digital VTX, but it offers similar breakup to analog. And can you guess what the other competitor is? TBS? Rush? No. We're going to put it up against the Eachine TX23 800 milliwatt VTX that I picked up a couple years ago for $15 US. All right, here's our setup. The two analog quads are going to be running an MMCX to SMA connector with a TrueRC OCP antenna. We're going to run them at 25 milliwatts as well as max power. On the HD Zero quad with the freestyle VTX, we're going to be running the included UFL right-hand circular polarized antenna. On the receiver side, we're going to be rocking the HDO2 goggles. For analog, we're going to be using the TBS Fusion module. When we're running long range, we're going to run in old school mode. I've paired the antennas with the Lumineer double axis, right-hand circular polarized, and the TrueRC X-Air Mark II antenna. For HD Zero, we're running the original SharkBite VRX with the included patch antennas, along with a pair of the Lumineer double axes as well. How about that HD0 in the driveway at 25 milliwatt? Pretty impressive, huh? Well, what do you guys think? Does the Foxeer Extreme earn its $60 price tag? Were you impressed with the results? Did that $15 VTX perform pretty well for analog? Post your comments down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Stay tuned for more HD0 content. Remember, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Give this video a thumbs up, share it, like it. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one.